Guys, I hate doing intros. I feel like I should just not do intros anymore. Like this video if you don't want intros anymore, because... Alright guys, so today's video is going to be a lot more laid back and chill. I'm just going to show you these recipes as I make them and as I eat them throughout the week. So it's 4 staple high protein recipes which I eat every single week without fail, because they're easy, they're tasty, they're healthy, and like I said, which is the emphasis of this video, is that they're high in protein. I'm definitely one of those people, and I'm sure you can relate, that I get into the habit of just eating things on repeat, the same things on repeat, day after day after day. Just because I know I like it, it's easy, and it's healthy, and also I'm just very lazy. I mean, overall my diet is very varied. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Yeah, I would say over the last like 6 months, I've definitely just been a lot more conscious to add more protein to my meals, or just in my day overall. So my overall amount of protein has been a lot higher. Even if on lazy days, I've kind of topped up my protein with protein shakes, etc. But the reason I like adding more protein to my main meals is just because I have a huge appetite, right? And my stomach's a big black hole. And I can eat huge quantities and still not feel full. For sure, eating a lot of healthy fats with my meals helps a lot to feel satiated too. But with the inclusion of more protein over the last few months, like, the benefits have just been incredible. Both mentally and physically, I'm always satisfied, don't get hungry in between meals, and I'm able to lift heavier weights, which you're probably thinking, where are the results, Miles? Where are the results? Coming soon. So yeah, when I build my meals, I like to think of, you know, getting in good quality carbs, proteins, and fats, but I definitely focus more on proteins, fats, and non-starchy vegetables, because that's just what makes me personally thrive better in terms of energy. Yeah, like I said, these recipes are very simple and no skill involved. Sometimes a little bit of conveyor belt action, but sometimes that can be quite therapeutic as well. So yeah, hope you enjoy these meals and you make them too, because they taste absolute bomb, and all of the instructions, measurements, and ingredients and all of that jazz will be down below. Anyways, you didn't click on this video to hear me ramble, so let's get straight into the food. Okay, so the first recipe is my baked peanut butter tofu. I make tofu in so many different ways, but this way is by far my favorite because the flavor is just out of this world and it's very quick to make. You can also make this with almond butter or cashew butter, or really any nut butter, to be honest, as you know I don't like to discriminate when it comes to nut butters. So first you'll need a block of firm tofu, and we're just going to chop this into bite-sized chunks. Apparently my bite size is huge according to how I'm cutting them here. I also added some chopped red bell pepper to roast with it, but you can also throw in any veggie of your choice, including potatoes. Then we're going to drizzle a generous amount of runny salted peanut butter over the top. A little bit of sweet chili sauce and the juice of half a fresh lime. Salt and pepper to taste, and then into a hot oven for 15 to 20 minutes until it's crispy and slightly caramelized. I like to have this as a light, high protein lunch, so I just made a large colourful salad to go with it, but of course you can add any kind of starch like sweet potatoes, rice, quinoa, whatever you like. And of course a salad is not a salad without a creamy good avocado, and this one was perfect. I drizzled the salad with a little bit of garlic infused olive oil, which is obviously optional, and when the tofu is ready, just serve a generous amount over the top. I finished it off with a little drizzle of sriracha for a little kick, and there you have it. Nothing left to do apart from apply to face and enjoy. So I'm actually a little bit embarrassed to show you this next one, as it's so incredibly simple, but clearly not embarrassed enough, as here it is. This is something I've been loving for my first meal of the day recently as a high protein post-workout fix. It's sweet, refreshing, and only takes 2 minutes to prepare. So I'm using some unsweetened soy yogurt as the base of this, but you could use coconut yogurt if you want to make it more decadent and thick. Then I'm adding in some vanilla protein powder from Vivolife. The reason I love this protein is because it's extremely healthy, tasty, and also has added turmeric, which, don't worry, you can't taste it. And you just want to mix the protein powder through until it's smooth and there are no lumps. And honestly, this step does test my patience a little bit, but the end result is worth it, so persist. Then we can go to town with the toppings. So first I'm stirring through some frozen raspberries. If you use fresh, it will make it a nice pink Insta-worthy colour, and some frozen bloobs, and also some fresh strawberries which were grown down my road and they were super sweet. And I'm also crumbling over some 90% dark chocolate chunks. And the darker, the better here, as the bitterness goes so well with the berries. I don't care what anyone says, dark chocolate is healthy. It's full of magnesium, full of antioxidants, and all of the other good stuff. I always sprinkle over a couple tablespoons of hemp seeds for some extra healthy omega-3s and protein. Now the best part, a good drizzle of creamy salted peanut butter. Look at that. Almond butter works just as well here, and it won't surprise you at all that sometimes I also use tahini here, which goes very well with the berries. And that's it. Dessert for breakfast, only healthy, filling, and very high in protein. Okay, so this next very lazy creation is my triple chickpea pasta. You'll see. So, for the first chickpea element, I'm roasting up some chickpeas with some of these long red bell peppers, which are so much sweeter than the regular ones, and I eat like 3 a day. They're not even a new addiction. I've been eating them for years, but just can't get enough of them. If you don't have bell peppers, then I'd suggest using carrot chunks instead. And we're gonna add those to a baking tray along with 1 can of drained and rinsed chickpeas. So I'm seasoning this mix with paprika, cumin, cinnamon, salt, pepper, and a little drizzle of garlic oil, which is obviously optional. And of course, you could just use lemon juice, but the texture just won't be the same. I do use oil sparingly, only for the things where it actually makes a difference. For example, with roasted chickpeas. And then into a hot oven for 15 to 20 minutes until they are nice and crispy. The pasta I'm using is chickpea pasta, and the reason I prefer to use this above regular pasta is because it's a lot higher in protein, and also I just love the nutty, earthy flavor. So you just want to cook the pasta, or pasta for my American viewers, until al dente. And then here comes the third chickpea element in the form of hummus. Guys, hummus over pasta is a genius creation, and once you've tried it, there is no going back. There's no need for other creamy sauces. This is where it's at. I also spritzed over some fresh lemon juice, and then you just want to stir it through while the pasta is still hot so that it slightly melts the hummus and everything becomes creamy. And I'm actually salivating editing this. I need this right now. Then when the chickpea mix is ready, just serve it over the top, and I love the different textures in my pasta too, so that's why the crispy roasted chickpeas work so well here. And just like that, there you have it. Send it down the chute and enjoy. So this last recipe is something that I've been eating on repeat for years, but I only make it when I can get my hands on good, white flesh Japanese sweet potatoes. I don't know why, but it's just not the same with the orange ones. It is also good with white potatoes too, so if you can't find Japanese ones, maybe just use white baked potatoes, and that's also bomb. These, by the way, took hours to cook because they were a very, very dense, starchy variety. Very dense, very sweet. They were so dense, they were even hard to prick holes in, so here's me getting quite angry and stabbing it. I know, I'm a hazard to myself. So while the potatoes are in the oven, we're just gonna steam up some edamame and peas, which are obviously both very cheap and high in protein, and also some green beans just for some extra green goodness. Make sure you don't over steam or boil these, as there's nothing worse than brown mushy peas. So only steam them for about 4 to 5 minutes and then run them under cold water to shock them, and that immediately stops the cooking, and it also preserves their lovely vibrant green color. A little avocado action is needed here, and as you can see, I was ecstatic that I got a good one. And then add the edamame, pea and avocado mix into a big bowl, and I'm dressing this with some fresh lime juice, salt, pepper, and a little drizzle of maple syrup. Give it a good mix, and when the potatoes are finally ready, you can go ahead and serve this with the green beans and fill the potato boats with the edamame mix, and be very generous. Just pile on as much as you can. I also sprinkled over some hemp seeds for extra healthy fats and a little bit of crunch, and of course I drizzled it with some nice runny tahini, aka liquid gold, and a little bit of sriracha for some heat. I know this mix is so simple, but it's also so tasty, healthy, and most importantly, satisfying. The perfect carby way to finish the day. Anyways guys, as always, I'm sending you all so much love. I really hope you enjoy making these recipes, and I'll see you on the next video.